Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be where the narcissist eventually ends up. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So, the narcissist, many times people believe that the narcissist is living their best life and that they've gone off into the sunset and they are living the dream. That is not the truth most times. The narcissists, remember, they are trapped in their own mind. They cannot escape reality. That's why they have to look for new shiny objects. And they look for new people to manipulate and new people to believe in the mask. And all of these people, which at one point was you, certainly was me, these people fall for it until they get the wisdom on the narcissistic abusive cycle. And when they get the wisdom and they apply the tools that are provided for you in the community and on the channel, then you understand that going no contact is the path. Also, believing that the narcissist can change, that is something that will never happen. Many times post-narcissistic relationship, or even when you were in the relationship, you thought that they would change. You thought that you could change them. The narcissist probably approached you coming from the place of a victim, or saying that you had so much, could you just elevate their life for a period of time? Meaning, perhaps put a roof over their head, or pay for their tuition, or pay for their car, etc. The narcissist will play people any way they possibly can until something breaks, because the narcissist is always trying to break the relationship. You now know that. You understand that the narcissistic relationship, not only number one, is a relationship you need to heal from, but number two, the narcissist is continuously trying to break the relationship. And number three, the narcissist does not just have one source of supply. Now, what is supply for the people on the channel or in the community that this is their first video ever consuming about narcissistic abuse? Supply can be anything. It can be a pet, it can be a house, it can be a person, it can be a trip, it can be a garment of clothing, it can be a food. Supply can be anything, and the narcissist needs supply. They need to feel important. They need to feel that they matter. They need to feel that they're better than people. The narcissist goes through life believing that they're entitled, believing that they're better than other people, and believing that nobody will ever figure them out. Now, where the narcissist eventually ends up, it's not a good place. It's a place of non-abundance. It's a place of reflection. And yes, I will say this during this video, the narcissist at times, they will be checking their current sources of supply, and they will be comparing those to the relationship that you were a part of. And they will say to themselves, wow, the current source of supply I have right now, they're not really cutting it. I have to get another new source of supply, because the new supply, i.e. your replacement most likely, they weren't even close to you. Now, I'm not disparaging the new supply. At one point, that was you. It certainly was me. But what I'm sharing is that if you're in the community and you're healing, you are a very abundant, beautiful, bright, shining light. You're stronger than you know. And the narcissist knows this too. So why did I mention that part? Because the narcissist is always looking for something that they will never find. They're always looking for the perfect shiny object, the perfect person. But that was you when you were in the relationship. And most likely the narcissist discarded you, or perhaps you ended it yourself. But either way, that relationship ended up. Now, all these things I'm mentioning to you, that's little Noah, all these things I'm mentioning to you is where the narcissist eventually ends up. They end up alone. They end up isolated. They end up penniless and broke many times. Not always, of course. And the narcissist will look back and they will say, wow, I had the best thing on the planet, which was you. And I blew it up because I can't help myself, because I blow up every relationship I enter. Every relationship that I become a part of, I will try to extract as much from them as I possibly can. And again, that was the relationship you were a part of. And the narcissist did not ever think that you would see that. They never thought that you would figure out that they were a narcissist. They never thought that you were smart enough to get that needle in a haystack and to take action and to go no contact and block these people, etc. But that's what you did, or that's what you're doing, or that's what you're about to do. You see, the narcissist, where they end up, it's not a good space. Many times their own children won't talk to them. Their spouses certainly have gone no contact and blocked them after a period of time after they got the wisdom and applied the tools. Their own parents or siblings or neighbors or coworkers, etc., want nothing to do with them. And the word is getting out that the narcissist is not only a toxic person, but they don't have anybody's best interest at heart, which includes their children and includes their coworkers and everything. The narcissist cares about one person, and only one person, and it is themselves. But when you were in that relationship with them, you thought that you were going to grow old together, or raise children together, or fall in love and relocate together. Notice I said the key words there, together. I said it 3 times. Well, you kept your part of the bargain. You did exactly what you said you would do. And you did fall in love, because you do have the ability to fall in love. The narcissist can't fall in love with you or with anybody. They have no empathy. They're hollow, shallow, empty vessels. And we now know that, or we are figuring that out. But togetherness is something that you wanted and you worked hard for. And you did the best you could to build up that relationship. And you were the glue that kept that relationship together. You were given to a fault, probably, perhaps even a people pleaser. Maybe you said you couldn't say no, which is the strongest word in the English language. When you were in the relationship, you probably couldn't. One thing I can promise you is you didn't have boundaries, because the narcissist would smash them any opportunity they got. This is why every narcissistic relationship has an expiration date. It just depends on whether you figure it out in time and you remove yourself from the relationship, or if the narcissist takes whatever they possibly can from you and they discard you. But either way, it's a very challenging thing to experience, to go through, to figure out that the person perhaps you fell in love with, they're empty. They were wearing a mask. They were manipulating you. Nothing that they said was real. And how they could do that day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, it's unfathomable. But that's what the narcissist does. And that's what they did before they met you. That's what they did when they were in the relationship with you. And that's what they're doing right now with the new supply. Now, again, I'm not trying to trigger you or upset you. I'm saying the narcissistic abusive cycle goes around and around and around, and it will continue to go around, but it goes around without you, because now you've healed, or you're healing, and you're on the path towards that pinnacle of indifference, that mountaintop of indifference where so many of us are waiting for you to climb to the top of that mountain. You will get there in time, in your time, when you really slow your life down. You take stock of the narcissistic relationship and you learn from it. You learn the definitions in the glossary and the terms, and you now know what gaslighting is, what a flying monkey is, what triangulation is, what a rage fit is, etc. And now you put 2 and 2 together, your education with your experience, and that equals wisdom. That's what so many of us have done, and many more of us are doing right now, because we are all becoming awakened and aware, educated and empowered. And we understand that we are the priority, that we come first, second, and third. Now this relationship, remember, it's the relationship you need to heal from. I'm referring to the narcissistic relationship. You can't just put a Band-Aid over it. You certainly can't just go back out in the dating pool thinking that you can fall in love in a split second. That's not going to work. That probably is what happened to you when you met the narcissist, because they promised you the sun, the moon, the stars, and everything in between. And you believed them because you didn't know that there were people on the planet like the narcissist. And then you entered the relationship, and you fell in love with them. They couldn't fall in love with you, and they began to slowly extract your resources. That's how the cycle goes on. The cycle goes on and on and on. Remember, the cycle is the love bomb / euphoric stage, when you first meet the narcissist and you fall for them, or you believe in them, or you believe in the mask. Second part's the devaluation stage, when you're trying to get back to that puppies and rainbows, unicorns and butterflies days, which was the euphoric stage, or the love bomb stage. And the third part's when the relationship ends. Fourth part is the Hoover. Don't accept a Hoover ever. A Hoover is when the narcissist is checking your temperature and your pulse, and they're seeing if you've healed, or if you've figured them out yet, or if you will go back for another round of abuse. Never accept a Hoover. That's why I suggest virtually in every video I create to go no contact and block these people, because then you essentially become unhooverable. Not all the way, but you become as insulated as you possibly can. But where the narcissist eventually winds up or ends up, it's not a good thing. They have to live with all the relationships they've blown up. They get older each and every day, and they don't agree with the wrinkles that are showing up on their forehead and their face. Their hairs are turning gray. They're turning into the aging narcissist. Now, this video, again, is just a little tidbit of the aging narcissist. The aging narcissist is not a pretty sight to see. They're a person in denial of their existence, of how they look and how they're acting. They're trying to act of a different generation, perhaps 10, 20, 30, 50 years younger. And it doesn't fly these days, because people are so much more in tune with other individuals ever since the advent of the smartphone and the internet, and we get information so much quicker. So back in the day, when you would say, oh, that's just my crazy uncle or something, well, that could have been the narcissist. Then again, it may not have been. Think about it. There are so many layers of onions to the peel back, of the onion to peel back post-narcissistic relationship. It will take a lot of time to dissect as much as I can in one 20-minute video, but I can barely scratch the surface. What I'm sharing with you is where the narcissist ends up eventually. It's not a good place, because the narcissist will have to come to terms and come to grips with all the relationships that they've dissolved, all the manipulation that they've administered, and all of the lies that they've told about the smear campaign, about, even if it isn't the smear campaign, all the lies that they've told. Because the narcissist goes through life like a bull in a china shop. All they want to do is destroy. They want to take and take and take, and when they're done, what do they want to do? That's right, they want to take more. They want to take as much as they possibly can from unsuspecting people, from vulnerable people, from people who don't even know that narcissism is prevalent. And once the narcissist gets what they want, then they go off into, they slither away into the darkness looking for a new source of supply. But that new supply has already been lined up. You just didn't know it. I didn't know it. But that's what the narcissist does. They can only stay with a person for so long. Whatever that length of your relationship was, that was the answer for you. Same with me. But now we know what's going on, and we really understand that slowing our lives down and taking stock of not only the narcissistic relationship, but those loved and trusted ones, or friends and community members around you. When I say community, I mean people in your community, neighbors, colleagues, coworkers, people in religious organizations and or communities. We really take stock of these people. Are they who they say they are? Are they perhaps a toxic person? Can't tell you, but now you know, because you have a superpower. You've come through the ashes, risen through the fire like a phoenix. You've healed. You've picked yourself up by the bootstraps. You've dusted yourself off. You are now in the third version of yourself. 1, 2, 3, the strongest version known to humankind. You are now galvanized. You now can't unsee what you've seen. You now really need to understand that sharing information is one thing, but oversharing information will never serve you, because that's what you did when you were in the narcissistic relationship. And again, remember, the narcissists, where they eventually end up a shell of themselves, because they've burned too many bridges. They've had to relocate one too many times. They've blown up so many romantic relationships. They've devastated every spouse they've ever had. They've driven wedges between so many people, including their own children and their children's hopes, dreams, aspirations, goals, future. That's what the narcissist does. The narcissist, everybody believes in the narcissist mask. Until when? Until they don't. And why I share that is because everybody, and I mean everybody on the planet, reveals themselves in time. I've revealed myself. You have certainly revealed yourself, because you're in the community. And the narcissists definitely reveal themselves. But not everybody reveals themselves when you want to, i.e. the narcissist. If you knew back then when you entered the relationship with them, they gave you that 2-page report and said, read this. Here's what I'm going to do to you. Here's what I've done to other people. And this is exactly what I will do to you. You would have run for the hills. Why? Because there are 8 billion people on the planet. You don't need to be in a narcissistic relationship for 1 minute. Nobody in the right mind would do that, but that's not what happened. You believed in the mask. You believed in the false narrative. You believed in the words of the narcissist because you weren't taught this in school. And that was all by design. You were supposed to believe in the false narrative and the false rhetoric, and you were supposed to believe in the nonsense that the narcissist told you. But back then you didn't know what you know now, and now you can't unsee what you've seen. And now you know where the narcissist eventually ends up. It's not a good place. Many times these people do end up penniless. Many times these people end up with a whole bunch of money, but no one wants anything to do with them because the people can't be bought any longer. And the narcissist, let's say it's a narcissist with a lot of money. Well, what did they do? They financially abuse people left, right, and center, I'm sure. But the kids of the narcissist many times want nothing to do with them, because there's no amount of money that the children of the narcissist will accept to enter the relationship with the narcissist, or to re-enter the relationship, or patch it up with the narcissist. Why? Because it does too much damage to people. I already shared this with you once. I'll share it again. This is the relationship you need to heal from. You can't just say, oh, my mom was a narcissist, no big deal. No, there's damage done there. That's why you have to really understand and process things. That's why people go to see a therapist. That's why people need to journal. That's why people need to meditate and watch videos and read. And that's why you are on the channel and in the community, because you're trying to get your cup full, and you will if you haven't already. And you're slowing your life down, which I've said 3 times. You're processing things. You're realizing that there is no magic pill or no magic wand that can be waved to just take you where you want to be. To reach the pinnacle of indifference, it takes a lot of time. It takes a mountain of time, but in your time, you will get there. We are all on the healing path, headed in the same direction, simply taking different footsteps. All of us, except for who or whom? The narcissist. They're not on a healing path because they can't introspect. They're the person that creates the manipulation and does the damage. All they do is go on to other people once they left you. They go on to other people, they fine-tune their craft and their skills, and they look to manipulate other unsuspecting people, or other toxic people, or people that haven't healed, and they recycle people. But the narcissistic relationship goes around and around, and it will go on without you. It can't go on with you, because after seeing what you've seen and experiencing what you've experienced, nobody in their right mind will go back to the narcissist. You can't do it. It didn't serve you the first time. It certainly won't serve you the second, third, or fifth time, or the 20th time. But where the narcissist eventually ends up, they eventually end up on the island all by themselves. They eventually end up a shell of themselves. They eventually end up with people not wanting anything to do with them. They eventually get discovered. They eventually get revealed. They eventually blow up one too many times where people say, I can't do this. I don't want to be around this person. And yeah, it's my brother. Yes, it's my sister. Yes, it's my son. Yes, it's my daughter. It's my mom, my dad. It's my grandmother. It's my friend of 20 years. Who knows? But people can't tolerate this any longer, because once you go through the cycle, and once is more than enough, let me tell you that right now, but once you go through it, there's not anything you would do on the world to go through it again. Why would you do that? You do everything you can to not go through it. That is why you must sincerely go no contact. And if you can't, utilize gray rock. But understand, the narcissist can't change. They only get worse over time, and they will be consumed by themselves. What will you do? You will be living your beautiful, bright, abundant life. It will be toxic free. It will be drama free. It will be manipulation free. You will be doing things in your time. You will see the doors of abundance open up for you. And so many of you that I've had one-on-one sessions with are now experiencing the doors of abundance. That's when you finally kick the narcissist to the curb. You get the message and you say, wow, that took me a while to go through all the healing. And sometimes it took longer than you wanted it to, but you did it. And now you have nothing to do with the narcissist. They don't mean anything to you. They're tiny. They're microscopic. They are smaller than a piece of lint on your pants. And they know this. They've always known it. The thing is, usually the narcissist had the loudest voice in the relationship when you're with them. And what they do to people and how they brainwash them and manipulate them and get them in the trauma bond, it's disgusting. And to find your way out of a place that you don't even know you were in, which is the trauma bond or the devaluation stage, that's not fun at all. But you have to unwind that relationship. You have to realize that the narcissist never had your best interest at heart back then. They don't now, and they never will. They're stuck in the loop, and they wanted you trapped in the loop too. That's exactly what they wanted. So where the narcissist eventually ends up, not in a good space, not in a good mental space, not in a good financial space many times, not in a good physical space many times. And the narcissists themselves at times will settle for breadcrumbs, because they need supply. You don't need supply. What you need is food, water, shelter, maybe the internet, and living your life. The narcissist needs people to manipulate and to control. Once those are all cut off from them, meaning once people see behind the mask and they don't believe the false narrative any longer and they have boundaries, the narcissist gets choked out, because people don't tolerate their poor behavior any longer. And they want nothing to do with these people. And that is the life of the narcissist. And they know it, and I know it, and now you know it. So run for the hills, get out of these relationships. Do not give the narcissist your energy. Do not give them your time. Do not give them any of your resources. Understand that where you are now is exactly where you're meant to be, and you are most likely in such a better place now than you were 3 months ago, 6 months ago, 9 months ago, 12 months ago, 4 years ago, and continue on the path moving forward each and every day. That is what we must do. We must heal from this relationship. We must learn. We must grow. We must teach if we can. We must become in the third version of ourselves, the strongest, most galvanized version known to humankind, a place where there is no room for the narcissist or any toxic people, but there is plenty of room for you. I love you all. God bless you. I hope you liked the video. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. Remember that. You are not alone. And that was Nelson saying hi. And Noah is here too. I'm going to give you a quick cameo because they're camera shy. And then I'm going to end the video. Noah. Hey, Noah. Hi. Nelson. Hey, Nelson. Hey, Noah. Okay, they wanted to say hi to you guys. I love you all. God bless you. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.